Popeth yn barod.
Okay. The date now is to say that this meeting is being broadcast and it'll be available online further down later on today, and I hope everybody's happy with that. So over to you, Elwyn. Welcome, everybody. Any apologies, please? Yes. Louise Hughes, John Nuttall, and Ifor Glyn Lloyd. Ivor's on the screen. Oh, apologies. Thanks very much. So, declaration of interest, anybody? The minutes, I can vouch that they're all correct. Anybody can second that? Anything arising from the minutes, please? Nothing, okay. Number 4, reports from the Planning Directorate. 1 application, land in Blaen Cefn, Penrhyn Deudraeth. Ben Jones, can you take us through this? Thanks. I'll show the slides now.
Hi, Bob. Just the ymddiheuriadau.
Apologies. I'm going to present this in English this time. My Welsh is a bit rusty. But next time, I promise I will be presenting in Welsh. Thank you.
Yeah, so this case is in relation to a previous case. It's just an extension of the period of use at Blaen Cefn. So let's start. This is the site plan. Location plan, sorry. That's the site plan. You can see there's the access road from the A487 at the bottom left there, a temporary access road and then into the site. It's the temporary accommodation around the outside, screened with vegetation and parking spaces in the middle. So here's a few photos of the site. So the top left is the road leading into it. You can see the security building there, and then a few of the accommodation units. This is the communal area and dining area. They've got a kitchen in there as well. And then there's storage, laundry, and generator back. So a bit of background. The planning permission, the reference MP5 78323R was granted in January of 2024. The establishment of temporary accommodation linked to the Eroe Visual Impact Provision Project, or VIP project. It's part of the National Grid wider programme to reduce the visual impact of transmission infrastructure in nationally important landscapes. So in this case, the works involved the construction of an eastern tunnel head house, a ceiling end compound, and permanent access arrangements. And it's to remove a section of overhead line and 10 pilings that currently cross the Dwyford estuary, replace them with underground cables housed in a tunnel. So members may recall that the original application was a departure from the local development plan, as the development did not comply with the relevant policy framework. However, at the time, it was accepted on the basis that the use would be temporary and that the site is in close proximity to the main VIP construction area, providing a practical solution for the work accommodation problem. And so this current application seeks to extend the period, and if approved, the site will remain operational until December 2027, with full removal of all buildings and reinstatement of the land by June 2028. As part of this decommissioning, the entire facility will be decommissioned and the site reinstated to the condition it was in prior to the previously approved development. and condition will be imposed, condition 3 in the report, to ensure that the temporary access road is removed and the land fully restored. Similarly, the permeable parking areas and footprints of the temporary buildings will be cleared, and these areas will be allowed to regenerate naturally and return the site to a landscape consistent with its surroundings. More specifically on the restoration phase, following the removal of the temporary infrastructure, the meadows will be protected and existing vegetation will either be preserved or carefully relocated. Wildflower meadows will be established on the low fertility soils, and targeted mowing and weed control will support the long-term habitat quality. And all restoration work will be undertaken in line with the approved landscape plan to ensure compliance with strategic policy D of the local development plan. Just some general and residential amenities. The nearest residential properties are located approximately 200 meters from the main accommodation area. Neighbour notification letters were issued to all nearby properties, but no representations or objections were received in response. The applicant has also resubmitted key management documents, including the noise management plan, traffic management plan, external lighting plan, drainage strategy, and the community and linguistic statement, and all have been reviewed and deemed acceptable by the relevant consultees. And finally, a rental agreement is in place and a code of conduct for people living at the temporary accommodation site to ensure that respectful behaviour is maintained. So moving on to access and transport, it's all very similar to the last one, but vehicular access, as I mentioned earlier, is taken from the A487 trunk road, using an existing access point that has been widened to accommodate the construction and staff traffic. As you can see, the shift patterns there on the slide, and a maximum of 60 workers work per shift. To manage the traffic, 8 single trips per shift changeover are needed to transfer workers between the main project site and the temporary accommodation. But the transport statement submitted with the application concludes that the additional 8 single trips per shift changeover will continue to have a negligible impact on the surrounding road network. And there are also several mitigation measures already in place to minimise vehicle use and promote sustainable travel, such as minibus transport for shift workers to and from the main project site. Shift patterns are also scheduled outside of the normal peak hours, and the use of the footpath at the rear of the site, which provides pedestrian connectivity into Penryn Day Drive. And so these measures help align the proposal with Strategic Policy L, or the LDP. Moving on to, the Welsh language. So obviously policy 18 of the Arroy Local Development Plan recognises that in determining planning applications, the authority must take into account the needs and interests of the Welsh language. So supporting the application is a community and linguistic impact assessment. And so it notes that it introduces up to 100 non-home-based workers, so temporarily increasing the population of Penryn Day Drive and also the non-Welsh speakers, number of non-Welsh speakers within the ward. But it's important to emphasise that these impacts are short-term and fully reversible once the temporary accommodation is removed. And then as part of the applicant's commitment to supporting the Welsh language and culture, they have introduced several initiatives on the site. All new workers receive welcome packs containing information about the Welsh context, culture and language to help them understand and respect the local community. And there's also language and cultural awareness training provided to staff. To close, in conclusion, the application seeks continuation of the existing temporary accommodation until December 2027. And all clearing works to be done by June 2028. It's in support of the National Grid's VRP project, and so it's important to keep provision for that. It remains a departure from the local development plan, but its temporary nature, strategic purpose, and proximity to the main construction site provide clear and justifiable grounds for continued use. And all technical matters, the traffic, drainage, lighting, noise, and Welsh language impacts have been reassessed and deemed acceptable. And in conclusion, and in my view, the proposal represents a pragmatic and proportionate response to the ongoing requirements of the nationally significant infrastructure project, subject to appropriate conditions, controlling time limits, decommissioning and restoration of the continued use of the site until December 2027, with full reinstatement by June 2028 is considered acceptable and in the wider public interest. And that's the key condition.
Iawn, diolch yn fawr iawn.
Cadeirydd, ga I just have a question? Can I symud ymlaen, please?
Iawn,
Allwn ni fynd yn ôl i sleid rhif 8, please?
Can we go back to slide number 8, please? There's inconsistency in the first bullet point. Am I right in saying that it's 323R is the reference that we're talking about? So the original is 323R, yes? So there's inconsistency with the date as well, if you notice. On the left, it says 24th of September. And so the original, so it should be 323R that we're discussing today, even though this is a self-standing application in terms of time. But R was the original. Okay, thank you.
iawn, diolch yn fawr iawn. Oes ar ryw gynnig gan rywun?
Any comments from anybody? Can I just see the presentation on the...
Clywed hynny'n iawn.
I didn't hear that either. We're just taking the presentation off. So there's, we've got a speaker.
O, reit, o'n i'm yn gwbod.
I didn't know that, sorry. Thank you.
Iawn, croeso chi.
Okay, welcome. Morning. Thanks for the opportunity to talk. I'm sure a lot of you remember the original for this being presented to you about 2 years ago. At the time, we were hoping that we wouldn't have to use the hotel, the temporary hotel, further than December this year. But because of the delay in building the tunnel, the timetable for has changed as a consequence of that. So we've introduced this new planning application to provide a place for people, for Hoxtreaf staff to stay, to extend it to June 2028. So otherwise, the planning application stands as it was originally. The site has been providing temporary place to stay for the Hoxtreaf staff, and we had to, the site now has been operating without any issues, with about 100 workers on site at the moment. There's nobody is against the application, even though the site is operational at the moment, which is in the way, and it's good that the way that Hoxtreaf is managing the site. So the work on the tunnel is moving on well, with a tunnel boring machine has. So there's a 3,000, there's a bit of work left to go digging the tunnel. It'll be finished by the end of 2026. So the timetable to ensure that the use of the site for the temporary accommodation for Hoxtreaf will certainly be finished within the time that we're asking for the application to put in place. So there's very unlikely that we'll need an extension. It's been, so the discussion has been agreed with officials beforehand. So in the light of this, so I'm hoping that the committee can support this application. Thank you.
Oes yna ryw sylw gen i fi neu gynnig John Pugh?
Any? Yes. Yeah, I'd like to recommend it. Anybody seconding it?
Iawn, diolch yn fawr. Sir Rwys
Yes, thank you. Anybody want to say anything?
Os nad oes? Ie.
I'd like to have more information about the work that Hochgyp are actually doing. So if you can get in touch with me about the work that they actually do, I'd like to get more information if that's possible. And in the fact that there'll be voluntary work done in the area as well. Anybody else?
Os nad oes, mae'n ei gynnig ag eilydd bod ni'n caniatáu yn
Okay.
ymwneud ddangos os gwelwch chi dda.
So can you show that you forward the application? Yes, it's been carried unanimously. Thank you. That's been passed. Thank you.
Dyna ni o'r ceisiadau cynllunio.
So that's the end of the planning applications. We'll move on to page 56
Gwybodaeth.
for information.
Cwestiwn ar dudalen
Any questions about this particular part of the document?
58.
58.
Wedyn, dyn ni'n mynd ymlaen i geisiadau na
Then
phenderfynwyd arnynt.
we're going on to the planning applications that didn't have a decision decided on them, page 60.
Yw cwestiwn gen rywun yn fanna?
Any questions or comments?
61
61
a 62.
and 62. Chair, I've got a question to ask the members about the application in Tir, in Llanfestiniog, page 62. The plan hydro, it was an application that we were going to present in front of you today, but it wasn't possible to prepare the report in time. So we're waiting for comments from Natural Resources Wales. We have received the comments and there's an intention to introduce this application before you in January, but because of the nature and the type of plan it is, if you want to consider visiting the site before we discuss round the table in January, because I'm aware that there's a lot of delays and the application has been kind of dragging along. So I just think that it's kind of be unfair then. So can I make a suggestion that you visit the site? So you're going to extend the invitation to all the members. Are you in agreement with that? Can somebody, is anybody a full membership? Yeah, the whole authority, thank you. So a lot have kind of are all for it, and a lot have been seconded it as well. Any dates in mind for this visit? Not yet, but we'll confirm in plenty of time. Thank you.
Okay, yeah.
So we formally passed the recommendation to visit the site. Okay, unanimous voting there. Thank you. So can I just cut across a second? There's a visiting panel in the calendar for next week. Usually it's a week after the planning discussion. I think the top of the year would be better, really, as close as we can get it done to the meeting itself. Would you agree with that, Chair? Yes, I do, yeah. If you're happy, yeah. So 2 hands are up. 1 comment about the site. So there's 2 areas that need to be visited on the site, and we need to consider the weather as well in January. It's quite a difficult area to navigate, so we need to consider that, yeah. There's a road going to the Combe Farm in the bottom. But there's quite a bit of work to look at all the sites. So everything has to be ready for that and to explain to all the members beforehand. And there's a car park, is there? So we can walk from the car park, can't we? Yes. And yes, is that the lower road, is it? Yes, okay. So just to be aware of that. Page 61. Planning expected. So to do with Capel Gwynfryn in Llanbedr. So this was raised last week. What is happening with this? Because the scaffolding is up for quite a while now, but nothing seems to be going on there. And it's very dangerous to enter the cemetery. So I'd like to know what's happening there, please. So we're in discussions with the agents and so we've got somebody external looking at the plans. They need to be changed. It's taken more time than considered. I had some correspondence sent to me last week, but the applicant doesn't respond all the time, so it's taken a bit more time. So the cemetery was a dangerous place before, but yes, I'll draw the applicant's attention to that, to what you said. Thank you. Anybody else? If not, we will move on to the next item, page 64. Any comments from anybody? 65. And that's it. That's the end of the meeting. Thank you very much to each and every one of you. Thank you. Can I just remind you, there's a working group following this, so that will be on a different link. So we end this meeting and we reconvene in 15 minutes. We'll have a cup of tea and then we'll reconvene at 11 o'clock. No, in 15 minutes. So I won't be able to join because BT are here. Sorry. Thank you. Thank you very much.
We'll sit together.